Listen now. No, just kidding. Okay, so anyway, so in 2014, I did a mission trip to Haiti, and at that time, there was an awareness of a virus that was being contracted by mosquitoes. Now, you know, here sometimes mosquitoes like come on at night, and you have to put like their pellet on and stuff like that, and you're pretty good to go. Well, in Haiti, the disease, it originates more in Asia, but at that time, it really started affecting the Caribbean, okay? So, the mosquitoes are out 24/7, like during the day and everything. So, so going into it, we were aware of the situation and stuff. So we just had to take protocol of, you know, bug spray all day long, all night, as much as you can. I was like caked in bug spray and suntan lotion. It was kind of hard to keep up with. So, but we went down there for a mission trip to help children in an orphanage with disabilities. There's children with non-disabilities and there's children with disabilities, and we were specifically there to help with the children with disabilities. And we were there, that was June of 2014. We were there for 7 to 9 days, I think. And the whole trip was awesome, but a lot of people there, especially at the compound and stuff, were affected by the disease, where you really literally cannot move at all. And you get a high fever, you get a rash, and you literally can like not walk. So people were just like laid out in bed for a good, the brunt of it is the first like few days or so, and so people would just like be laying, you know, for a few days or so, and then once they were able to get going and barely still walk around, they would try to move around and stuff. And it was harder to get medical attention down there because we're not near any hospitals. It was a 7-hour drive, like in a school bus, just to get to the destination that we were going. So you're pretty much on your own. There are full-time missionaries that are down there, and they do get a bunch of supplies and stuff down there, so pretty much you have your basics of like Tylenol and stuff like that. And pretty much those are, you know, Tylenol was like the go-to. There's no, it's not like a infection or anything where you have to take antibiotics or anything like that. You just have to like kind of deal with it. And the symptoms can last anywhere from 2 weeks to 9 months for people. So for me, I was doing pretty good the whole trip. I was doing good. You know, I can tell I was getting the mosquito bites. It was hard because in the showers there, you know, there's like no doors or anything. And there's like a bucket, a huge bucket, and it's just full of water. And mosquitoes, they lay eggs and stuff near moisture and stuff. So it's really hard to combat the whole mosquito population with the ratio with the virus and the people there. That's why a lot of people there got sick. So my story was right at the end of my trip. Actually, it was my last night there, and at that time it's funny because you're worried about like, we had to like sleep in beds, and there's no windows in the building. It's all like these cement buildings with just windows, but it's not like glass, it's all open air. There's like rats like running around the ceiling and stuff that you can see. We had to get netting because there's other diseases and stuff that you take shots for and all that you have to be, you know, cautious of. So you take the netting, and of course I hate spiders, so I was making sure that was like tucked in there all nice and tight every night. So anyway, my last night there, I totally felt fine. I can tell I had some mosquito bites because I felt I had a big bite right here, and a couple other places. So, but I was feeling fine. So what happened is in the middle of the night, I was shivering. I got cold. Now in Haiti's pretty hot. It's like jungle humidity down there. Very hot. So I'm sitting there tossing and turning like, why am I freezing right now? Because part of the chikungunya virus, the first onset of symptoms is flu-like. So you get the chills, you get the high fevers. So I was like cold and I was tossing and turning. We had to wake up at 2 in the morning to load up on the bus to take the 7-hour trip back in a smaller school bus through the country there. So when I woke up, I can tell I was hot. I felt very, very hot. I like woke up and I'm like this, and I went like this to my stomach, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hot. And I'm like, oh no, I think I might have it, but I wasn't for sure. I didn't have a thermometer there, and I didn't ask for a thermometer. So once we got up, it's like, okay, we gotta go, get our bags ready to go, take the net down. You take down like the last few things, pack it up, and then you have to wait for the bus, and then you're on the bus, and you gotta go. So I just didn't have time to go see a nurse or anything like that. But I just kind of assumed that that's probably what the onset was going to be, because a couple other girls on my team, there's probably 4 others that the day before started getting symptoms and stuff, to where like their last day they had to stay in bed and lay down because they couldn't walk. It's very painful, like your joints and stuff, it's just like shooting pain. It was different for everybody and stuff, and you get rashes. So anyway, so when I'm on the bus and stuff, I started noticing from like here down my feet, it just was like a weird feeling for me. And I was like, okay, and I started feeling really sick because I had a high fever. You can get a fever of anywhere to 102 to 104. Again, I don't even know what my fever was, but I was hot. I don't remember ever feeling that hot since I was a kid with the flu. Okay, so I knew I knew it was happening. So from the 7-hour bus drive, I remember sitting in the back of the seat, and each hour the symptoms were getting worse. And I was just like, instead of enjoying my last day, I was like sitting there like, okay. I was like, okay. And down there with their trash, they don't have like a trash system like we do here. They don't put it in the trash bag, put it out, and here comes the truck. They don't have that out there at all. Like they don't have that type of symptoms. So what they do is they burn their trash. So then while we're driving through the different villages and different towns and stuff, you can see people burn their trash, and it smells so bad that almost made me physically like throw up sick. Again, I was really, really sick, getting sick. And so that 7 hours, I had to deal with that the whole time. So that was like, oh my gosh. So at that point, I just kept praying, Lord, just get me to the airport. Well, first we had to get to a hotel. We're gonna stay the night one night and then get to the airport the next day. So I was just like, just help me make it to the hotel. I just needed to get it to the hotel. By the time we got to the hotel, at that point, my feet were still feeling weird and stuff, and I had a high fever, the high fever was still going on, and we checked in, and we were hungry, so we went to sit down to eat. And so everyone at the table, there's 3 of us out of the 5 were contracted. You started having symptoms, and like I said, a couple of them the day before, so they already knew that they had the virus, and it's called chikungunya. Did I say that? The name? Yeah, chikungunya. Now, that's like a crazy name. Chikungunya means crippling. So it's like this. If you look it up, it's like a picture where someone's hunched over like this. That's what, because of your joints, like this. And I did end up like that, so I'll get to there. So anyway, so we're eating and stuff, and the next set of symptoms, the onset came on, and because you have to wear skirts down there. They don't let women, Haiti itself, women wear what they wear, but as a missionary, you have an example to set, and you're only wearing pants, they don't want you showing off your body, so we had to wear t-shirts and skirts and stuff. So when we were eating, sitting down, and I lifted up my skirt, and I had a rash on both eyes right here. Like red little bumps, like everywhere. And I was like, oh man, I got chikungunya for sure. So I was like, oh my gosh, So anyway, after we were done eating, I don't even know what time it was, but we went to bed and we all crashed. After the trip and everything, going to this country for the first time, first mission trip for me, out of the country, that was my first mission trip, and stuff, out of the country. And for me, actually, ever being out of the country, besides Canada, it was a lot of stuff happening. So to end it with this virus was like, wow, like pretty crazy and a little overwhelming. you know, you have this virus in you that you don't know what else it could do, you don't know how long it's gonna last or anything like that. So anyway, so at that point, once we got there, again, I can't communicate with my family or anybody or my friends to let them know what was going on to get the prayers going, because at that point, we still had to travel. I still had to travel, and I was like dreading it, and I was fearful too, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it home. I might have to go to the hospital. I didn't know what was gonna happen. So we get up the next morning, and the next morning at that point, the rash goes away. The rash only stays, like the onset's like a day or so. I still have the fever, and at that point, from my knees down to my feet was very painful and just a weird feeling. It's hard to explain, just like this really weird feeling. And then I started feeling it in my wrists and my hands. Some people, like their whole arm, or just their elbow, or their necks, you know, just joint areas. But for me, it was right through here, and then from my knees down, and then the high fever. And so we had to get to the airport, and driving there, you just don't take a taxi or a Lyft or Uber. They, you know, I don't even think, Uber and Lyft's already happened in 2014 anyway, here in the States and everywhere else. But so there you have to like sit in the back of like a little pickup truck with like 10 other people and stuff, and you're like crammed in there. So I'm just like barely able to get up on the truck, and I was like, okay. And I was sitting there with my bag like, okay, here we go. Like, and we get to the airport. By the time we get to the airport, I couldn't even carry my bag. So literally, like, so the airport in Haiti, I like just drug it, and I'm like this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And so, and then a couple of my other companions, they were suffering as well. It was pretty rough. And then just waiting, and the symptoms were getting worse and worse. Once we got into the airplane, the one thing I was so grateful for is, you know, airplanes, you have to sit there and it's real like confined and stuff. I actually had an aisle seat where the exit was. Now, if you ever sat in the exit aisle, it's a little bit more roomier, so I was able to at least stretch my legs out. I mean, just that was a little bit of relief, but not really. At that point, I was popping the Tylenol and stuff like that. Whatever I can get from, you know, my friends and stuff that I went on the trip with. And at that point, I just sat there. Thankfully, the plane ride from Haiti to Miami is not that long. It's about an hour and a half or so. So, listen. So anyway, so once I got to Haiti and Miami, right when I was on the plane and landed, I got my friends who, the two girls that led the trip, they have like SIM cards and stuff where they were able to communicate like off the island and stuff. So once we got into Miami, I called my Courtney's dad and told him what was going on. At that point, he started making all the phone calls to everybody in the church, Lynette, Julie Hicks, Kara, everybody, to get the prayer going for the sick, because I still had to go on another plane from Miami to Colorado, and that's like what, 2.5, 3 hour trip. I mean, or 3.5, I can't remember, but a very long time. And I'm again suffering. I remember being in Miami. At this point, everyone has their own other connecting flights, so I was like all by myself with this crazy chikungunya virus. And literally, I'm sure people are like, what is wrong with this girl? Yeah. Like this. I'm like, just get there. I just get to that. Just get there. Where's my gate? Just get there. And once I got there, one thing I did tell Chris on the phone was I need extra strength Tylenol, because you need to do Tylenol. You also need to do ibuprofen, because the Tylenol helps with fever, the ibuprofen helps with the joint aching. The extra strength Tylenol pretty much helped with a lot of stuff. And then he also got me extra strength Tylenol PM so I could sleep. Because even when I would lay there or just sit there, it's just this aching, sharp pain feeling and stuff. And it's just very, very uncomfortable. So anyway, I make it to back to Denver. And right away, Chris was there and Julie Hicks was there, like waiting for me to help. Because I told them, I can't carry my bag, and I had another the big luggage to pick up too. So they had to like almost meet me to where I was getting off the plane, and they came and they like rescued me, and they had to help me because I couldn't carry anything. And I remember we went and stopped to get some food. Because in Haiti, they don't have McDonald's and stuff down there, so that's what I had. And then I got home. So that was day 2. So that's day 2. Day 3, I'm home. And at this point, the day 3 was probably the worst day for me physically, even though I was at home, because going up and downstairs. So do you remember that picture I gave you? Even I showed you like this, that picture at Crippling. I felt like an old woman. So like. I go upstairs and I'm like this, one at a time, going downstairs. And I pretty much just laid around a lot, took a lot of Tylenol and everything. Another concern was, the virus was only, in the States, it started getting into Florida, but it didn't really spread much after that. And so, but the concern was, what if I go outside here and a mosquito bites me? Would that contract the mosquito? And then the mosquito can get stuff going in Colorado. So I pretty much quarantined myself in my house for, I think, about the first week. And that, I had great friends come and bring me food, come and visit with me and talk with me and stuff. And that was really nice. I didn't feel alone. So once I got home, I felt the grace of the Lord say, I brought you home. He brought me home. I made it through and stuff. I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. I only had to make one phone call and praying on my own and knowing that the prayer was going with my closest loved ones and my church family, that I felt so much better and relief. Even though I was dealing with everything physically, I knew it was going to be okay. I didn't think I'm never going to be able to walk again or this or that. There was one lady on the plane, she said that she had the virus for almost 9 months. So I had it, so pretty much the first week, I didn't leave the house and I barely could walk up downstairs. I had a hard time falling asleep because when I lay there, it was like from like again the knees down, it was just like this aching, painful feeling. And the Tylenol and stuff, it kind of helped, but it didn't help. So I just kept bearing through. But if it wasn't for the love and support of my family and church family, I don't think I would have gotten through that, The next week, I was supposed to go back to work. I had a call. I couldn't go back to work the next week because I was a barista at the time, so you're on your feet and moving around, and my wrists were, I couldn't do all that, so I had to take the whole next week off. But the next week, it got better because, the fever only lasted a few days, but the aches and pains lasted for about 2 weeks. The third week, I was able to go back to work. Slowly but surely, like from the knees down, I got better. But I still had the pain, not pain, it was more dull at this point, where it was dull. It's just like just more of an aching feeling. And that probably lasted for almost 2 months. And if it wasn't going to go away, I was going to look into talking to a doctor at that point. But in the end, it did end up going away. And then I haven't had any other symptoms since then or anything like that. So, but I don't think I would have, again, I just want to emphasize, like, I don't think I would have been able to, like, get through that if it wasn't for the Lord and my faith in Him and the faith in His power and how He works through all of us and how He has us all work together as a family to be there for each other. Even though when I made that one phone call when I got to Miami, you know, His power went to my church family, and we're all His workers, you know. So they're like, getting the prayers going and stuff like that. If that didn't happen, if I didn't make that phone call, I think my trip back home would have been so much worse. I probably would have been freaking out. I probably would have been like, take me to the hospital. I don't know what's going on. I have this crazy virus from a crazy mosquito. It's like a tiger mosquito. I don't know what that is. Like, so, yeah, so I knew in the end everything was going to be okay. And in the end, everything was okay. So, yeah, Lynette wanted me to share that story with you guys. But I would have to say that's like the craziest experience I've ever had with an unknown virus, especially the name chikungunya. Like, people are like, what? She get chickpeas? Chick what? I'm like, chikungunya. Like, it's really crazy. And you know, besides the people that I went there with and the missionaries in Haiti, I don't know of anyone else who can say I had the chikungunya virus. So I had the chikungunya virus, and I'm a survivor. So thank you.
Yay!
Yes.
Was the pain like when your leg falls asleep and then you go up and you go up to walk and then like it feels like it's weird?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yep, kind of like that.
Like just like a little bit worse?
Yeah, yep. Like more like someone's like poking you with a needle.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that feeling.
It's a very hard to explain the feeling, but it is like you have an on point there where your leg falls asleep and you wait, and then when you're moving it and you feel that like those prickly feelings, it's like that, but instead of prickly, it was like shooting. It's just like elongated like feelings of pain shooting down and up and down and up and down. So, and then I felt like it was like going around my wrists and stuff. So. Yeah, yeah, that's a good analogy. Anyone else? All right, thank you for listening.